Hello, I'm Jonathan Milam, and a few minutes ago I made a video about the ignored prophecy and the sadness, the pain that's involved with that when you feel called into a certain area, and sometimes your area of labor is not appreciated. And I just wanted to detail an instance that I had where this happened, and it's actually was some time back, but it's very fresh in my mind. One evening I was asleep, and I recall it was just such a strange situation. I woke up early in the morning, and I'd had a dream, and I was literally sick. Literally, I was nauseated. In the dream I'd had, I could see I don't want to be very careful how I say this. I could see a woman with no clothes on her hands and knees. Her hair was hanging down, her head was bowed a little bit, and it was obvious that she had been used sexually by a number of men. You know, there was the remnant of material on her back, and her husband was standing near her, thrilled to death, and he was just so proud that his wife had been used by a number of men. And literally, as I say, I was sick to my stomach. And the thing was, it was intertwined with a pastor that I have ministered for in the past, and I believe strongly that this couple was now attending that church, and I felt compelled to call him and explain this dream and the fact that I believed that this couple was going to his church. So I called and got his answering machine and left a message and said, Jonathan Milam calling. I feel like I have a word from the Lord for you. If you could please get back in touch with me. And didn't get a response that day or the next day or the next day. And I said, just let it go. Not going to follow up on that anymore. And I had the dream again. Same thing. I woke up in the morning just nauseated. So I called the church and left a message with the secretary. Would you please have Pastor such and so give me a call? And he never got back to me. And at this point, having had it twice, I felt it was a strongly important topic. So I called his residence number again. No response. And time passed, probably at least a few weeks, and I was actually preaching, let's say in Oregon. It was not, but let's say in Oregon. I was preaching for a man that was not too terribly far from this other pastor's church. And I was at that time so flustered. And honestly, I was thinking, maybe I'm so far off base, so wrong about this, that he doesn't feel any impelling to call me because he just knows that I'm whacked out. Self-doubt begins to be an issue. And so I preached for this one pastor, in fact, was there for a series of services. And one night we'd been out to eat after the service, and he was dropping me back off at the place where I was staying. And I said, I want to share something with you. I said, this involves a pastor that's not too terribly far from you. And I told him this dream that I had. And I said, do you feel God in that? Am I really wrong? And that pastor never even looked at me. He had his hands on the steering wheel. I was going to be getting out on this side of the car. He never even looked at me. He looked straight ahead and he said, huh. His wife's in the back seat? Nothing at all. And so I said, well, I enjoyed the service, enjoyed our fellowship. God bless you all. Have a good night. I got out of the car and I go inside and I'm thinking, what was that? You know, I share this thing with him. It's from the heart. And I don't even get it interesting. I feel something in that, or you're wrong. Just nothing but, huh. And so anyway, I'm praying for revival in the church that I'm ministering at. And a few days pass, we have another service, and we get together, and the pastor's wife again is riding in the back seat, and the pastor's driving, I'm in the front seat. And she says, honey, you were going to tell Brother Milam something. And he said, oh, that's right. He said, when you told me that dream that you had, he said, I was so amazed. He said, I was so shocked. I didn't know what to say, because that couple used to attend my church, and they involved some other young couples in their sexual activities. But they left my church, and they now went to the church of the pastor that you're trying to contact. And I felt two things. I felt a joy in my heart that I was not all wrong. You know, it's wonderful, and you do begin to doubt yourself when a prophecy is not received. But I felt also a looming sense of loss that this one pastor had in his sanctuary, a couple, and he's a very distant man. I don't believe any impropriety could be attributed to him. He just is not open to the word of prophecy. To my way of thinking, how do we relegate the feeling of someone that ignores our ministry? And I go back to the Bible, as always, for the answer. When Israel came to Samuel and said, we want a king, he wept, because it had been a theocracy. God was in control. He spoke through his prophets, and that way Israel was ruled. If they needed a ruler to rise up, God raised up a judge, but not a king, just someone temporarily that could fit the need. And so it was when Israel came and demanded a king, Samuel felt as though his place was unappreciated. And he went to the Lord with that thought in prayer. My ministry is not appreciated. These people don't like what I'm doing. And the answer from God was, they have not rejected you, Samuel. They have rejected me. When you have a prophecy or a ministry of prophecy that is not received, you may weep, but don't weep for yourself. Weep because when your ministry, blessed and ordained of God, is ignored, they are not just rejecting you, but they are rejecting God. There is a great peril in ignored prophecy. It burdens my heart, and I minister in a largely spiritual movement, a place where people feel they are spirit-filled, and there is great truth, but prophecy is not accepted as it should be, and there is a peril. But we can take this to God in prayer, and we can rejoice. Jesus Christ was the ultimate emblem of rejection. If he endured rejection, and his ministry, obviously, as marvelous and mighty as it was, we can endure rejection too. God bless you. My prayers are with you. They always will be with those who suffer the pain of ignored prophecy. God bless you. I'm Jonathan Milam. Give me a comment if you'd like. I'd love to hear from you. Bye-bye.